You are at Lake Rant, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Cozy, who says, "Hello. Please rant about burning bridges, resetting your identity, and obscuring your past." Well, sometimes you just gotta cut and run. And how do you go about doing this? Well, when it comes to burning bridges, I would say I'm pretty good at that. All you gotta do is make people hate you and not want to associate with you anymore. I don't know if you're looking for advice on how to do this or just like a general take on the subject. I mean, to me, they say you can burn a bridge. I don't know if you ever really can. Like, when you disconnect from somebody, they don't go anywhere. People don't just disappear. Unless they're dead. Like, everybody is still around. And so the bridge isn't truly burned. I mean, some people might never forgive you for something you say or do. Some people might just decide not to associate with you ever, but I don't think it's safe to assume that you will never have another opportunity to be friendly with somebody who, you previously were friendly with after something bad has happened. I guess you can burn a bridge, but you can also repair a bridge if you try hard enough. So, in my experience, I've definitely lost a lot of friends and, have burned a few bridges with people where I just decided, you're not worth it to me to be around, and your attitude sucks, and I don't want to be around. I don't want to be associated with you anymore, I've burned some, other people have burned them with me. It's whatever. People come and go. I'm used to that. I've moved my whole life. I'm not really used to people remaining around anyways, so it's never been like a big deal to me in a sense. Resetting your identity is difficult. I mean, I wouldn't be able to pull it off at this point because I've been on camera too much. I'd have to have a fucking face remodel for you to not know that I was me. I mean, I could reset my identity insofar as changing my whole personality and character and sort of rebranding myself, or, being like, hey, I mean, maybe, what if something happened and I completely changed my outlook on everything and I just scored all the previous footage of me off the internet and was like, here's who I am now. Like, it wouldn't go away, all the other stuff that I've made, but I could make the argument for why I'm not the same person anymore. But in a more general sense, resetting your identity, I mean, I've done it. Like, I've gone around, back when I was a kid on the internet, I was a pretty contentious person. Like, I would get onto forums and I would get into lots of fights and I would be like an unpopular member, and then at some point I'd grow up a little bit and I would not want to associate with who I had been up to that point. It's like, I don't want people seeing that name and having all these negative memories associated with me of a person who I don't really see myself as anymore, who I've changed, my opinions. And so I would just show up with a different name, a new account, be different from who I was. And there were times where I made a concerted effort to try to perform a different character. Even Digibrony, the beginning of this channel, if you read my old anime blog, it was like I am now. It was intense. It was always lots of swearing, very personal, lots of aggression, And when I got into the Brony community, because the ideals of that community were so different from that, it was so much more of a happiness and friendship kind of oriented community. I tried to brand myself as somebody who was more, calm and likable and not a dick and not aggressive. And my videos were very friendly, and I talked hey, every pony, today I'm going to tell you about the new episode of My Little Pony, it was meant to be a fun hee-hoo kind of character, but I got tired of doing it and just kind of defaulted back to my true self of an angry, violent sociopath, I guess. So, I've played around with these ideas of, toying with different identities, but ultimately, to me, it just comes, it ultimately always becomes unsatisfying. It's if I really felt very differently from who I had been before, I probably would try to reset my identity and try to embody this new person that I think I am. But for me, it's always been more about just doing it for an experiment, doing it because I want to see what it would be like how people will react to me acting this way as opposed to my regular self. But like keeping it up long term, it's not satisfying because I'm not getting what I really want, which is acceptance of my real self. So that's why I keep pushing closer and closer to something resembling reality in my content as time goes on. As for obscuring your past, I'm not personally in favor of obscuring my past because I want to show how I got from there to here. And there are some people who really hold on to, like, whatever you did in the past, they want that to be you forever. And they don't want to, forgive you or to allow you to change into someone else. They want to be like, oh, people are who they are. And I really don't believe that. I think that people always change. You're constantly changing. You're constantly evolving. And I want to show that evolution. I want you to be able to track who I was before and who I've become, what changed along the way, So that's why, like, everything I've ever done is still up online. I've never removed really much of anything. There are a bunch of blog posts that I had set to private at one point when I was trying to get more popular as a blogger, and I hid a bunch of personal stuff just because I didn't want people to think my blog was all personal stuff. And I can't get in and re-release all that stuff because I lost the password to my blog a couple of years ago. So, if I ever get in there, maybe I'll release it all to patrons or something. But, yeah, for the most part, everything I've ever posted, even on message boards and shit, is still online. Because I want you to be able to see, like, wow, this guy, he's really changed. He's really matured. He's become a better writer, a better person. He's not constantly aggressively screaming at people. I understand why some people would want to obscure their past, but I think it's always better to just embrace it and be like, yeah, I did that, and here's how I changed, and here's who I am now, and, if you're not willing to forgive who I've been in light of who I've become, you're being unreasonable, not me. But I don't know. I mean, if your past is really fucking bad, you might have to obscure it and run away. Thankfully, I haven't done anything that would get me in enough trouble that I have to actually obscure my past. But, if you're in that position, I don't know if I can help you. You might need to seek a professional past obscurer as opposed to merely a guy who's changed his username a few times on the internet.